Alrighty, welcome back for another rapid market update where every single month we go over the key real estate metrics and what they mean for you as a consumer. My name is Katie Bullock with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Momentum Group. Thank you so much for being here. It is November 2023, and we have the most recent end-of-month statistics for October. Today we're going to be going over Salt Lake County, which is the Salt Lake City area here in Utah. Now, if you are looking for Utah County, which is a little bit south, I would go ahead and skip over to that video. I've got a link to that video down in the description below. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. Alrighty, so here we go. Here is an overview of the end of month October for Salt Lake County. Again, this is October 2023, and we are looking at residential inventory. So our average days on market. So again, days on market is the time frame when a home gets listed for sale on the market until it goes under contract with the buyer. So days on market, we're sitting right around 40 days. The number of homes sold for October was 906. And down here, you can see our average list price and sold price. So average list price was around $621,000. The average sold was around $611,000. So already you can tell from there that the list to sold price, there is a little bit of a difference there. And we'll get into that just a little bit more here coming up. All right, so now just to give this a little bit of a context, I've put up here our stats from the previous month, from September. And really there's not, a major differences here. We're pretty much holding the same. We are a little bit higher days on market. I do really like that we have gone up in the number of homes sold. So we're at over 900 this month. And last month, end of month, we were at 815. So that's really great to see, an increase in inventory. So yeah, kind of in general, we're sort of holding steady. Again, we're moving into that sort of seasonality of the slowing of our market. And so let's just dive into that a little bit more. All right, so what we've got here is the sales price data for October. And I want you to draw your attention down here towards the bottom. We've got all properties, which is a combination of single family, townhome, and condo. And then we've got them split up here. Now there's two different lines here. We have the average sales price and the median sales price. Now, y'all probably know what that means, but just as a review, the average is you add up all the home prices, all the sold prices divided by the number of homes that's sold. The median is if you were to line up all of those prices and you find the true middle. So, good to look at both. They really are neither one is wrong, neither one is right. They just are different ways of looking at the data. But I think the big thing to note here is if you look at, this is comparing last year to our current year, and it gives us a percentage of change. And we're just not seeing a huge change, either up or down in sales price. Okay, for single family, this year we're actually up 3.3% on sales price compared to last year on the median sales price. And, townhomes for median sales price were down slightly at 1%. So again, we're just not really seeing a big change. So what does that mean? What does that mean for you? I think as a buyer, that would tell me that I think a lot of people right now are kind of holding out. Buyers are sitting on the sidelines, holding out, waiting for what they think is maybe going to be like a market crash, or we're going to see a steep decline in prices here in Utah, specifically Salt Lake County. And right now, the data is just not indicating that. Prices are pretty similar, again, holding steady to what we see from last year. Now, that's not exactly the only reason why buyers are holding out. Obviously, currently right now, interest rates and affordability are a big issue as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for all of you buyers that are sort of worried that maybe, a big crash is coming, right now the data is just not indicating that. I don't have a crystal ball. Could that change here in the next 6 months? Possibly. I don't think that it's very likely. All right, so here we go. Just another little graph to talk about days on market. Comparing this time to last year, we're right around the same. This time last year, we were at 44 days up market. This end of October this year, we were sitting at around 42 days, days on market. So, I mean, it's slightly down, but really not a significant change, 2 days. So that's for single family. And again, it's holding true for townhomes and condos, 37 days versus 38. We're kind of sitting right around what we were seeing last year. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean for you as a buyer? What does it mean for you as a seller? I think that it's important to look at days on market just so that you can set some realistic expectations. Now, if you're a buyer, compared to maybe 2020, 2021, when the market was really, really fast, you had to make decisions about homes quickly, or they would be under contract and they would be gone. Right now as a buyer, you do have a little bit more time. This is more of a normal pace for a market. So you do have some time to go and see a home. Maybe you go see a home a second time. You have some time to kind of give the home some consideration. Now, as a seller, I think it's important that you just are aware of where the average days on market is sitting, because when you list your home, you don't want to have the expectation that, within a week or 2 weeks, you're going to be under contract. Now, that would be great if that happens. And hopefully the person you're working with has a strong marketing campaign to give you the best opportunity for that. But it's good to know in your mind, you could be sitting at a month and a half before you go under contract. Now, that could be important for a number of ways. Number one, just mentally preparing yourself. When you are a seller, there is an aspect of it kind of being a mental game. And it can be long and drawn out. And it can be difficult when, you have to have your home constantly ready for buyers. And, given any amount of notice, you might have something coming into your home. That could be especially challenging, if you have pets or maybe you have children and you're managing those sorts of activities. I get it. It can be hard. And 44 days, 42 days, a month and a half of doing that before you go under contract with a buyer, it's good to just prepare yourself mentally for that time frame and that process so you have a realistic expectation. And right along with setting expectations, I think it's important for sellers to be aware of days on market so that you don't panic. If you're a week or 10 days in and you haven't got an offer, you may be tempted to do, a drastic price reduction or something like that. And it may not be necessary. Obviously, each situation is unique. Each market is unique. That's definitely where you need to consult with an expert and someone that really knows your area. And I think right now, more than ever, it is important that you are working with that type of professional, someone that has a really good marketing campaign, who has a good feel for your area, and that can really help you and coach you through those couple of months through the process. Right. I also wanted to just briefly touch on the percentage of original list price to the price received. And so that is the difference between what the home was initially listed for sale and what it actually eventually did sell for, and that percentage difference. So right now, it looks like end of October this year, 2023, we're sitting at about 96%. And we saw that when we saw the first slide, there's about a $10,000 difference between the list price and sold price on that first chart. And so that's what we're seeing. It's actually up slightly from last year, which was sitting at around 94%. But again, it's not a huge difference. We're kind of sitting similar to last year. And we're seeing similar numbers here in the townhome and condos. I'm not surprised to see the townhome and condo numbers a little bit higher than our single family. And so what do those numbers actually really mean? And I think what this is speaking to really is the affordability issue that we're having right now due to, historically high interest rates. This chart goes from the sales price of lowest to highest. And as we move down in price range, you can see that number of original price to what the price they've received, that percentage goes up. So in the $200,000 to $300,000 range, for example, sellers are getting 99.5% of their price. And I don't think that is a coincidence. I think that, again, speaks to the affordability issue we're having right now in the market. A lot of buyers have been forced to move down a little bit in price range just because of those higher interest rates. As a seller, I think one of the things to note here, a lot of sellers right now, because we're moving into a little bit of a slower market, this is just a seasonality thing that we see pretty much every year. If you are someone that's thinking about selling a townhome or condo, and you would be in that price range, a little bit lower price range, I think it's helpful to know that right now things priced in that price range are selling really well. They are selling close to that original list price. Now, there are a lot of factors that go into pricing your home and what price you end up selling for, but on average, sellers in that price range are getting pretty dang close to what they list at. Now, last thing I wanted to just touch on here briefly is just some overall data here for the state of Utah. We are looking at this chart shows all the way back to 2019 the number of new residential listings that go on the market. And as you can see, Utah follows a pretty predictable trend where we peak out here in the spring, summer months, and then we have a pretty significant slowdown into November and December. And this is a seasonality thing that going back to 2019, we've seen pretty much every single year. What does that mean for you as a consumer? I think if you are a seller, again, it's just about setting realistic expectations, knowing that the slowing down of the market really isn't anything unique. It makes sense, right? That it would slow down from November to the first of the year with all of the different holidays and celebration, with kids having time off school, people taking vacations and whatnot to travel, to see family. It makes sense that, people would be unavailable or maybe preoccupied with other activities and not as motivated to be out there looking at homes. So as a seller, it's just good to mentally know that and just prepare yourself for that. Now, as a buyer, what does that mean for you? And this is something really important that I want to touch on. If you are a buyer right now in today's market and you are ready to buy, you can afford to buy, and you're ready to go. I said this last month and I am sticking to my word. Right now, there is an opportunity in the market to get a good deal. Now, what does that good deal mean? That could mean a lower purchase price on the home. The other factor is we are seeing more sellers being willing to offer more concessions, either covering closing costs or willing to cover the cost to buy down your interest rate, either a temporary buy down like a 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down, or a permanent buy down. You can do a permanent rate buy down. We are seeing more sellers being willing to negotiate those types of concessions. The other couple of factors is there's still a big window of opportunity in new construction. A lot of builders are offering some pretty big incentives to finish out the year. They are offering there is a little bit of wiggle room on price. Price isn't moving a ton, but they are offering lower interest rates. They're offering to buy down your interest rates. They are offering lender incentives for closing costs. So there are a lot of incentives out there. There are also some lenders right now that are offering lender incentives where they will pay for your appraisal, or they will cover a portion of the cost to buy down your interest rate. There's just a lot of opportunity right now as a buyer to get some incentives that we just didn't see at the beginning of the year and over the summer. So an opportunity to keep more money in your pocket, which all adds up, especially with the little bit higher interest rates. If your cost into entry, if your closing costs are all covered, plus someone else is going to pay to buy down your interest rate, it makes getting into that home a lot more affordable when you can keep that cash in your pocket. So if you are a buyer and you are looking in the Salt Lake City market, I would love to talk to you more about some of these different strategies and ways that we could try to save you money. Give me a text, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. All my contact information is down below. Love to connect with you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Katie Bullock. Give this video a like and please consider subscribing so that you can be the first to know what's going on in the Utah real estate market. All right, we do these videos every single month at the beginning of the month, so we will see you in the next one.